Hi there. We've got a trio of skills that we need to do. I know it looks like more than that up here, but when we boil it down, there's a skill called factors, there's a skill called multiples, and looking at these little acronyms that you've probably seen from way back when, GCF and LCM, all we're really doing is adding a third idea, which is what factors or multiples might two different numbers have in common. G being then we look for the greatest factor they have in common, L being what's the lowest multiple they have in common. The thing is, doing all of those things requires kids to be pretty good with their math facts. So before we can really talk about those, I want to do a video about the rules of divisibility. And the rules of divisibility essentially are just some tricks that you can use to recognize if a particular number fits into another number evenly in regard to multiplication division. So you guys are probably all familiar with the rules for 2 and for 5 and for 10. The rule for 2 is just 2 works with all even numbers. And our example here is simply, let's say we had a number like 48, something bigger than what most kids know their math facts for as regards to. You'd look at the 48, say, hey, that's even, therefore 48 is going to work with a 2 times something. And then you can use any trick you want, any process you want to figure out the other factor. What I like to do instead of sitting there and doing division is try to use multiplication and say 2 times what equals this 4 in the tens place, that will be a 2, and 2 times what equals this 8 in the ones place, that'll be a 4. If you have a number that's slightly more complicated, such as 56, you want to use that same thing. 2 times what equals the 5 in the tens place, it doesn't go in evenly. So I use the idea of regrouping. We can get close by using a 2. 2 times 2 is 4. That gives us 1 10 left over. Regroup it over to that 6. Now you've got a 16. 2 times what equals 16? That'll be an 8. So the whole reason we even knew to try that stuff was because we knew this rule, 2 is going to work with all my even numbers. The rule for 5, you're going to look at the tens place. 5 works. Did I just say the tens place? We're looking in the ones place. 5 works with a 5 or a 0 in the ones place value. So all that means is that if we've got a 55, hey look, there's a 5 in my ones place, it's going to work. If I had a 30, there's a 0 in my ones place, that's going to work. If I had a 47, I don't have a 5, that's not going to work. Again, you're going to have to use your math facts to figure out 5 times 11. Hopefully we know the doubles. Hopefully we know that that's 5 times 6. That's why we study our math facts. Finally, 0 is our clue for the 10. 10 is going to work with 0 in the ones place. So our examples there, let's say I've got 9,546. There's no 0 in the ones place, doesn't work. If I've got 9,540, 0 in the ones place, that works. Hopefully we also know, imagine that 0 going away, that'll give us the second factor. It's going to be 10 times this number without the 0 in it, which would be 954, and obviously that works with smaller numbers, like 240 is just 24 times 10. All right, now the new ones, the ones that are 4th grade rules of divisibility. We've added in rules for 3, and we've added in rules for 6. 3 is going to work with kind of an odd trick. I have no idea how they found this out. Somebody with better observational skills than me realized that what you do, step 1, is you find the sum of the digits in the number. And then, once you found that sum, if 3 works with the sum, that's my shorthand for with, by the way, then 3 works with the whole thing. So let's say we had 57, a number that a lot of kids would look at and say, oh no, 3 can't work with that at all because it's way outside my math fact range. All we do is we think to ourselves, well, 5 plus 7. 5 plus 7 equals 12. 3 works with a 12 because we hopefully know that it works with a 4. If it works with a 4, that means our 12 works. If it works with our 12, that means our 57 works. This is probably a situation where we would want to do a division problem to figure out what it is. If you wanted to use that method I showed up here with the 56, you can say 3 times 1 will get us close to the 5. There will be 2 leftovers, so we'll regroup those 2 10s over to the 7, make that a 27. 3 times 9 equals 27, and we'd get 3 times 19. Again, there's nothing wrong with good old-fashioned long division. 3 fits in there 1 time, subtract 2, bring down that 7, fits into the 27 9 times with nothing left over, so it works. 6. Our rule for 6 is actually more of an observation. Since 6 is made up of a 2 and a 3, just 2 times 3 equals 6, our rule for 6 is if 2 and 3 work, then 6 works. Purely observation. So, looking around, take that 57 we just did. 3 worked, but our rule for 2 is that it's even numbers. 57 is not even, therefore, since it's odd, 6 isn't going to work. I don't have the 2 and the 3. Now, the way that we've shown the kids to look for factors is by using a T-chart, and that's literally what it sounds like. You make a T, and you use that to organize searching for your facts. Let's say we were doing a number like 32. We're going to list our factors right here by using these rules of divisibility, and I'll show you how that works in the next video.